Hello and welcome to another GHC walkthrough video. My name is Mike, and in this video I want to show you how to set up a turbo copy of your dashboard. The turbo copy is a great feature. It enables you to load your dataset nearly instantly. And so whether you've got a large church or even a smaller church, but you just want to actively explore much faster, being able to click links, filter, and have that data load instantly, this is a great thing for you. And so if you're an active large church plan user, then you will have this available. Let me show you or share a few things there about this setup before we dive into the process. And you can skip ahead to any step in the chapters in the YouTube video you're watching. So when you create a copy, you can find out more about the nature of copies and Data Studio in our standard share copy walkthrough. But when we're creating a turbo copy, what's happening is that we are putting something in between your Elvanto or your church management system and your dashboard. Because what would normally happen is that every time you open a dashboard, it would go back and query the API servers of your church management system, and that process of refiltering or requerying the data can mean that it takes a long time to load. What we're putting in between is something called the extract tool, a feature of Google Data Studio, and once a day that extract tool will basically build a cache of your church management system and all the data we need for the Data Studio dashboard to work. And that means every time you open your dashboard, it is quickly querying that cache. Now, the caveat being is that caching happens once a day. So if, for instance, you've set that cache to extract or to be filled every day at 3 a.m., then data in your church management system that's changed after that won't be refreshed in your dashboard until the next day at 3 a.m. You can, of course, re-extract the data at any point, and you'd have to go through some of the steps in this video. And so with no further ado, let's have a look at myGHC, which is where most of our walkthroughs start. So as I said, this user here is a large church plan user, and that means that they have the turbo available. Otherwise, it will appear as a little kind of locked option and prompt you to subscribe to this level of account. Now, we're going to look at the toolkit. And here it says create shareable copy. And so we're going to click on that, and it will open up to the standard share creation screen, but with this button up the top, and we're going to set up Turbo Link from there. There's a bit of an introduction of things that I've just talked about. And one thing you must check before you go any further is that your setup is actually all correct. Anything that's not correct, that's not green, any spanners will create problems in this setup. So it's a good point to just check that you have set up your church management system and GHC connection correctly. And if that comes up, anything funny, you can click the this button just here to open up to that dashboard. Excellent. All right, so let's hit set up turbo data sources. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to click this button here. And this is a special dashboard that we've created that enables us to set up that extraction very simply. Now, at the moment, it's all green, and that's fine, because what we're going to do next is we're going to create a copy of this, and it's going to go to all errors for a moment. Just bear with me. So here we go. But just a reminder that this drop down is available when you move your mouse to the top of the screen. Hit make a copy, and we're just going to hit copy report. That's fine. And as this loads, now that we've created a copy, all of those validation checks will come back with errors, and that's fine, because that's actually going to show us that we need to do this setup process specifically for your church management system and account, and it will go green as we set it up correctly. So moving on through the instructions, what we're going to do here is that very similarly to the standard share copy creation, we're going to go to the resources and change each data source. And let me show you now how to do that. So we're in this copy here. So resource, manage data sources. Okay, now the screen looks a little bit overwhelming because there's lots of data sources here, but we're just going to work through it systematically. And the first thing we're going to do is look for the Elvanto API source. We're going to look for that one specifically and hit edit. And the reason we do this is because we simply just want to reconnect it to make sure that in the copy, everything has been reconnected properly. Sometimes this will be a straightforward process. Other times, as we've noted here, you might need to click reauthorize. But in this case, we haven't had to do that. It's just been a straight reconnect, done. Okay, from that point onwards, we're looking for the extract data sources, and we need to hit make reusable first. Now in this, my window here is not showing that. So I'm just going to scroll that out and move it across so that you can see. There we go. So make reusable. That's an important step because we need to be able to pick up this data source in other copies. And so we're going to hit make reusable. That's fine. I'm just going to move my screen back to how it was. Okay, so we've made that data source reusable, and then we're going to hit edit. And this is the point here where we actually set the extraction time. All right, now we get to the screen where it says, asks us to auto update, and this is what drives the extraction. So hit that, and that gives us now some options. Leave the state, that'll be fine. That's when it's starting. It will default to 8 a.m. And because we love our church management system providers, we're not going to encourage everyone to hit the API server at exactly 8 a.m. So maybe let's modify this to a time that might suit you, but also just a different time. And that could be 6 in the morning. Just remember what time you set. We're going to do that for each one. And that's a daily extraction. And so we're going to hit save and extract. Now, sometimes it will take a little while to load because what's actually happening now is it's running that full query to fill that cache and hit done. Or just might notice here that the data credentials are being naturally set to me as the owner of the copy. And if you remember from our standard share copy instructions and video, that means that when you share this with others, you're not prompting them to set the credentials because you own it as the copy owner. Okay, so we're going to go through each one of those. You can see here just that the make reusable is only just visible there. Yep, that's fine. And if you've got your windows spread out over a larger screen, this becomes a bit easier. Hit edit. We're going to go back to turn that on. I think we set it to 6 a.m. Hit save and extract. And you can go ahead and do that for every single data source. Or at least the extract data sources. And once we've done that, you'll see that all these validation checks become green. And then what we do next is once we've done all of those extraction sources, once it's all ticked green, is now we're simply going to open a copy of the dashboard that you are setting up for Turbo. And what we're going to do is we're now going to, this is the master of the toolkit, for example, and we're now going to create a copy of it. And this, normally we would just hit copy report. But what we're going to do now is we're going to use the extracted data sources as the source of this copy. And so what we're looking for now is we're going to match up, and you can see here, it tells you how to match them, but you can just follow me, of course, here. And so the service individual attendance is group attendance, service attendance, there we go. And then group attendance, volunteers. Now we're looking for making sure that these are the extracted data sources, not the standard data sources. What am I looking for here? This was volunteers and groups. Scroll down. Oh no, that's everything. Yep, excellent. Copy report. And we will know that it works because it should load up very quickly. Wow, that's impressive, isn't it? Nice and big. There we go. And so now at any point we can move through our dashboard and it should nearly instantly load, and you can query that very quickly. Hope that's helpful for you to see. You can of course now go through the share settings, and just like in the other video for standard share copy, make sure that you do not use anyone with the link or anyone on the internet can view, either restricted to your domain or add people individually. And once you've created that copy, and if you're adding people individually, you can copy the URL, or if you've added the domain, you can copy it here. And then you can go back into the setup instructions and save that and hit save and return. And you will now have the turbo copy built into myGHC and accessible to your My Team GHC users. Hope that's helpful. Have a good day.